And away we go. Matt James says he's, quote, pursuing a relationship with ex-Rachael Kirkconnell. I'm, quote, focusing on it. He says this article dropped today. Of course, you guys all know that I broke down the entire season of The Bachelor, season 25, which was absolutely everything we hoped and dreamed. With, of course, Rachael Kirkconnell beating out Michelle. I don't know what her last name was, but she beat her out. As a matter of fact, he didn't really take any one of the girls to the end. He just let them both go. He said, listen, I know what I want to do. And to keep it all the way real, guys, we knew that Rachael was the winner about halfway through the season. We knew that Rachael Kirkconnell was the winner about halfway through the season. We knew at that point that Matt James's heart was Rachel's to lose. It did not disappoint, but then, of course, the go woke twist ending kind of twisted things, but they seem to have come back around. I'm not pursuing any relationships right now outside of that. I said I was going to focus on my relationship with her, and that means focusing on it. I love how he just gives straight up answers. He's like, listen, man, like I said I was going to focus on this relationship, and that's what we're going to do. As for whether James, who's currently training for a marathon, feels Kirkconnell, 24, has been doing the work she promised in regard to educating herself about racism, that's something you could talk to her about. The former Bachelor said, a lot of what I'm focused on right now is that I'm doing in the community is the work that I'm doing in the community and with the marathon training. Kirkconnell apologized in February, the article continues, for the photos of her at an antebellum-themed party in college in 2018 and promised to, quote, continue to learn how to be anti-racist. Ay, ay, ay. James said on the After the Final Rose that he wanted to take a step back and allow her to put in that work. The work and reconciliation that needs to be done is work that I can't do for you, he told Kirkconnell, and I know you're capable of doing it. Now James hopes to continue to be a voice in his community, just being at the center of meaningful conversations. That's what I'm looking to do, James told People. I really enjoyed the conversations I have had over the past few months, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to be a voice on important issues. That's where I see my future and where I'm pursuing opportunities. You've got people who are cheering for you to end up with a specific person of a specific race, James said. Translation. He knew the sisters wanted him to end up with a sister. There's something that kept me up. That's something that kept me up at night. I don't want to piss off black people. I don't want to piss off white people, but I'm both of those. You know what I mean? It's like, how do I please everybody? You know, it's interesting. I actually watched an episode of the show Blackish. Blackish is a great show. Very, very tongue-in-cheek, very, very witty. There was like a spin-off miniseries called Black AF. Fantastic. It was really good. Devin and I loved it. Cracked us up. It's just over the top. It's great. Love it. Great. Blackish, mixed-ish, all that stuff. Spot on. But Rainbow Johnson, who I think is like the co-star, she is biracial. And her father is played by actor Beau Bridges, who is white. And so she was having a conversation about, with her father about the fact that her son brought home a white girl, right? And she said, Dad, like, you're white. Junior brought home a white girl. Why am I bothered? He says, well, because you're a black woman. And she says, wait a minute, Dad, why would you call me a black woman? I'm half of you. You're white. He says, well, the world sees you as a black woman. If you're he said, and I'm paraphrasing, he says, listen, if you're biracial, if you're half black, half white, the world still looks at you as a black woman. Guess what? The world still sees Matt James as a black dude. That's what they still see him as, which means that black people, sisters, still call him a sellout because he has now probably locked down Rachael Kirkconnell. That ignorant-ass nonsense they talk about. Oh, he's a sellout. He should go with... No, listen, Matt James can date whoever the hell he wants, race notwithstanding. Matt James is a black man. Listen, we all know he's biracial, right? We knew his dad was a player. We knew his dad loved him some white girls. But guess what? At the end of the day, Matt James is seen in the world as a black man. If Matt James gets pulled over by the cops, guess what? They're not going to say, oh, Mr. James, your mother is white. You're only half a nigger. Okay, all right. As you are. Please, have a good day, sir. No. They're going to proceed as they would always proceed in a lot of cases with black people. I mean, dude, listen, I'm black, and before I even had my tattoos, I sound like a white guy. Before I started running afoul of the law, dude, I used to get pulled over all the time, treated unfairly all the time. This is just how it is. Wait a minute. Why is Matt James, a black man, having to explain to a white man what it means to be black? Lindsay said, it just was not the right way to do it. This is a problem with everything. Rachael Lindsay, honestly, she needs to shut her mouth. Like, at this point, like, nobody gives a damn what she thinks. Like, oh, dude, she's just running off at the mouth. Yeah. Get mad about everything. Oh, you know what? She's a black woman. How about that? Black woman who can't stop running her mouth about shit that doesn't matter. Unbelievable. Lindsay said she wished he'd been able to express his feelings straight to the camera rather than with Harrison. See, now, Rachael Lindsay has a problem with the fact that Chris Harrison is white. That's all that is, right? So now we're beginning to see what Rachael Lindsay really thinks about, you know what I mean? Come on. Like, what difference does it make whether he's white or black, right? And the fact that he discussed being black with Chris Harrison had nothing to do with he was white. It was a discussion they had to have because it's on the TV show. What were they going to do? All right, listen, cut. All right, Acho, come on in here. Okay, you're going to have the black discussion with a black man so that we can stay politically correct. Get the hell out of here, man. She had the best date. She got the most gear, all this kind of stuff. She's obviously very attractive. Very attractive. She was the most feminine. Even sisters knew she was probably going to win. And what do people on Twitter in the ethoverse, what do they do when, I don't know, when someone has success? They go and they dig up something from their past. Out here in Philly, when the Villanova Wildcats won the college basketball championship, they went digging on what's going on with Dante DiVincenzo. Well, apparently, way back when he was in 7th grade, he actually he had the audacity to utter the N-word as a 7th grader, and they wanted to smear him for that. I think that the reason why Rachael Lindsay has a problem with Rachael Kirkconnell is because she is white. That's what I think. She's talking about problematic people. No, I think she's just mad that Matt James picked a white girl. But Rachael Lindsay obviously picked a non-black man, which I absolutely have no problem with. But this is the typical double standard that black women like to perpetuate into the world. I'm down with the swirl. Yeah, I'm down with the swirl. What, is that a white girl? What you doing with a Becky? Jesus Christ.